Greetings, everyone. This is Mustafa Talks Tech, your digital marketing specialist and tech evangelist, coming at you on this video with another message. This is not a necessarily tech related message. This is the motivation, because in life, sometimes we just need that motivation. We need that nugget of truth, that kernel of motivation that will give us the hope and inspiration to move forward, to go another day, to go another week, to take another step. We may be so tired of making steps that we just don't have the energy to take another step, but something can come within you and motivate you. And then you could take another step. And then when you took that step, you saw that it wasn't so bad. You can take another step. And then you start creating forward motion. So on this video, that's what I'm going to be doing. Just giving you some truths that could motivate you and to encourage you to walk again, and from walking to running, and running into flying, and to being your greatest and your best self. So the subject for this particular video is: don't compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 20. I'm gonna say that one more time, because right there within itself, if I stop right there, someone could take that message and that could go into your head and can be a reminder to you that don't compare yourself. Don't compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 20. See, in reading a book, reading a story, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. There's a up, there's a down. If there's a hero in that story, that hero has to go through so many different trials and tribulations. Where in chapter 1, he may be all right. By chapter 5, he may be facing trial and tribulation. Chapter 9, he may start to figure out how to overcome that trial and tribulation. And by the time we get to chapter 20, we're looking at that hero's victory. But you know, if we just focus on where we're at in the story and then look at somebody else who's moving further in the story, then we start making those comparisons, and then we start belittling ourselves and thinking less of ourselves, because we start thinking they're way up there and I'm yet still here, not understanding that we're all in a story called our life, and we're all making movement, and we're all going forward. So it says, don't compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 20. It was a meme that was floating around on social media. I think I may have shared it myself. And it was talking about this very topic that I'm talking about. Don't compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 20. And it was talking about those who are business owners or business founders who have gone on to achieve great success, and they're in their chapter 20. And we're just going to say chapter 20 here represents your greatest achievement. You reached your peak, you've reached your goal, you're there. That's your chapter 20. Whereas to juxtapose that with your chapter 1, that means you're either in your beginning, or you're at your down moment, you're at your struggle, you're in trial and tribulation, you're trying to figure it out. So chapter 1 to chapter 20. One is down, one is up, one is trying to get there, one is success. So it was talking about these businesses who are at that chapter 20 moment, who have, become renowned, have become household names, have become mainstream, and have become very wealthy and very rich. And it can be very easy to become discouraged if we're going to take business here for an example. If you just started a business, and for all my entrepreneurs out there, or small business owners, or people that's trying to start something, a passion project or something, or a side hustle and turn it into something bigger. That the beginning is very hard when you're trying to start a business, because you may not have all the money. You don't have people that believe in you necessarily. You don't have a workforce. You don't have all the resources. And then your idea may not be fully formed. You may still be developing it as you go, but you're moving because you got to do something. And then when you look at somebody like an Amazon, Jeff Bezos, who's, billionaire. You look at someone like Mark Zuckerberg, billionaire. You look at someone like Bill Gates, billionaire. All three of these guys have used tech to their advantage and have become billionaires in the process. Jeff Bezos, Amazon.com, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, and Bill Gates, Microsoft, of course. But if we look at the story of each of these guys, if we just look at them and focus on their chapter 20, where they are now at the top, then we don't recognize or take in consideration they had to have a chapter 1 moment, a chapter 5, a chapter 7, chapter 9, and they went through every chapter to get to their chapter 20. So again, don't compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 20. See, now if we go back and look at Jeff Bezos, for example, the founder of Amazon, I mean, he started this darn near, I think, in a darn garage. And when Amazon started, it wasn't this big conglomerate, great retail e-commerce giant that he had envisioned. He didn't envision it to be as big as it is now. You know what Jeff Bezos started Amazon? It was just supposed to be an online bookstore because the internet had become a thing, and he saw that he could get online and sell books online and become a market leader in selling books online. But that's all he was thinking of. He wasn't thinking nothing beyond that. And we know how that story goes, that Amazon shifted, and then Amazon started selling other stuff, and then Amazon started having their own web service, Amazon Prime. Amazon has music now. Amazon has, so much going on, man. Amazon is just, is an empire, but, he had to go through his day 1 all the way up to his day 20. But don't compare your day 1 to his day 20. Just be inspired if you want to take inspiration from his story to understand that you don't have to stay at your day 1. You can go to your day 5, your day 15, and then you can move to your day 20. We can look at Mark Zuckerberg as well as another example, you know, of someone who had a chapter 1 and who made it to a chapter 20. Mark Zuckerberg said when he started Facebook, if you would have told him that this was going to be $1 billion empire one day, he said he would have laughed at you, because they just built it because they thought it was cool. It was just a communication tool for college students to talk to other college students, and that was just going to be it. It was just, social media communication tool. But Facebook has now become a popular destination of social communication among people, where billions upon billions of people get online, create accounts, and communicate with friends, family, catch up with old classmates, network, promote their business. Creators are on creating content, creators are promoting content, musicians are promoting their music. Um, Nonprofits are promoting their programs and their passions and what they're interested in as far as their their mission. So it's so much going on Facebook, but you can't again compare your day 1 to Mr. Mark Zuckerberg's day 20. He's already made it. But if you choose to find inspiration from him, find inspiration to know that your day 1 will one day be your chapter 20. So I just wanted to drop those few things as looking at these studies of these people who have went from chapter 1 to chapter 20. And you may be at some point in your story right now, whether you're at the very bottom, at the beginning of your chapter 1, or maybe you're on chapter 2. But I just want you to know from this message that it's not over till you win, and that your story is still being written. Every day that you make a move, every day that you take a step towards your goal and towards your victory, then you're writing another page in your story, you're in your chapter. And you can over time graduate from chapter to chapter to chapter, chapter 2, chapter 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, till eventually you get to, your proverbial chapter 20. And that chapter 20 will represent your ultimate success. That chapter 20 will represent you having either financial influence and power, either seeing your vision manifested, seeing your baby be developed, meaning your vision, seeing you having a business where you got people buying into your vision and now you got a team. It's a lot of things that can happen good at your chapter 20. You're now a renowned, successful entrepreneur, business owner. So many things happen at your chapter 20. But you can never get to this chapter 20. You can never reach your success if you keep comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. It is said as I close that comparison is the thief of joy. Let that sink in. Comparison is the thief of joy. See, if you're always looking outside of yourself and looking at somebody else's success or their victory, or they got a nice home, they got a nice car, they got a nice bank account, they got a nice husband, they got a nice wife, they got a nice business, they got a nice whatever, they got nice clothes. You can always There's always something you can compare yourself to with somebody else. There's always gonna be somebody else that's gonna have something better. Even if you got $100,000, there's gonna be somebody that got $200,000. If you got $1 million, there's gonna be somebody that got $2 million. If you got $5 million, there's gonna be somebody that got $10 million. If you got 3 bedroom nice house, it's gonna be somebody got a 5 bedroom nice house. It's always something that you can compare yourself to. But as the sayings goes, comparison is the thief of joy. And if you always comparing yourself to others and looking out at others, then you would rob yourself of any type of joy, because that's a hell of a life to live in when you're constantly comparing yourself to others. I got $5 in my pocket, but damn, somebody else got $10 in their pocket. See, you're always gonna be robbing yourself of your joy when you're comparing yourself to others. So live a life of mental freedom where you will not compare yourself to others. You will not measure yourself up by somebody else success or what they have, and look down on yourself because what you may not have. Don't live like that. Live in mental freedom. And the best thing that you can do, if you see somebody having something and you want it yourself, there's nothing wrong with seeing somebody having something and you want it, as long as you don't allow it to become um, a negative mind state within yourself where you either become envious or jealous. Now, if you see somebody got a nice 5 bedroom house and you living in something a little less than that, then don't be jealous, don't be envious, don't compare yourself in a negative kind of way. Let that be inspiration, let that be motivation. Let you say, you know what, with a little bit of hard work and effort, I want to upgrade myself one day. I want to be in a bigger house. If you got $100,000 and somebody got a half a million one day, and that's something that you legitimately want, and you're not thinking from a negative standpoint, being jealous or envious or coveting them, then you know what? You say, hey, I'm gonna study their blueprint. I'm gonna look at their um, example, and in a few years, hey, I'm gonna level myself up. I'm gonna step my game up and produce more income for myself by one way or the other. So, comparison is the thief of joy, and you will never have true joy in life if you live your life comparing yourself to others, because it's always going to be somebody that got something better than you. Always going to be somebody that have a little bit more. Even if you become a billionaire, there's somebody going to have 2 billion. Then what you going to do? You know, comparison is the thief of joy. Don't let that comparison be the thief that takes away your joy. Be happy for what you got. And because you're happy for God, don't mean you have to settle for what you got. You can be happy with what you got, and you can still strive and desire to have more and bigger and better things without allowing that to create in you a negative mind state where you're in comparison to others. Don't compare yourself to others. Be happy for what others got, but use that as motivation to get something better for yourself and be better for yourself. Okay. So that was just a little bit of some motivation to get rid of, as Zig Ziglar says, some stinking thinking, and to get some righteous thinking and some good thinking in our heads, so that as we move forward in the days and the week and the year, that we can have the right mental mind state. And when we have the right mental mind state, then all things are yours, because you deserve all of the best things. All right. So this is Mustafa Talks Tech, your digital marketing specialist and tech evangelist. As I said, this was not going to be a techie type video. Every now and then I'm gonna come across and do those motivational type messages because sometimes we got to get this right. We got to have a checkup from the neck up. We got to get our thoughts right. We have to get our thinking pattern right. And that's one thing that I like to do is to help contribute to people's understanding of themselves and help them better themselves by giving a motivating word. All right. So check us out on our channels on YouTube. Check out our podcast. Check out our blog. Check out our social media channels. If we're not connected by chance, then please like and subscribe and or follow, whichever is applicable. If you find this message or any of my other messages of value, then by all means, please share this with a friend or family member or someone else so that they can get some benefit from this message. And with that being said, we'll go ahead and land this plane, and I'll see you on another episode.